Oh, Cyril, I think we messed up, like, big time. It's been a year of running mouths, way down in the south, throwing shade across the ocean, loud and full of doubt. First we said you're ill-informed, didn't think you'd care. Then the ambassador got nasty, floating insults in the air. We poked the bear, we pulled the tail, now we're reading the rejection mail. Ramamola started the fire, Green Natasha raised it higher. Vincent and Crispin joined the charade, with Fitkill leading the insult parade. We mocked the diplomat, we had a laugh, but now we're looking at the economic graph. Oh, Donald, wait, don't close the gate. Can't we just kiss and make up? We see the G20 list and our name is missed. It's a nightmare from which we need to wake up. Miami is sunny and we need the money to keep the jobs flowing and the trade deal sweet. Put aside the pride, let us back inside. Don't leave us stranded on the lonely street. Can't we just kiss and make up? Cyril was joking, thought he was the boss, but he didn't calculate the total cost. Mocking the envoys, acting so cool, now we look like the kids kicked out of school. You had enough, you drew the line, no Miami ticket, no invite to dine. We're sitting here holding an empty plate, realizing way too late. Magwenya was typing hit and send, thinking the patience would never end. But you saw the clips and you heard the slight, now we're shivering in the diplomatic night. The poverty's high, the struggle is real, we're desperate to sign that trade of peace. Oh, Donald, wait, don't close the gate. Can't we just kiss and make up? We see the G20 list and our name is missed. It's a nightmare from which we need to wake up. Miami is sunny and we need the money to keep the jobs flowing and the trade deal sweet. Put aside the pride, let us back inside. Don't leave us stranded on the lonely street. Can't we just kiss and make up? Oh, we know we said some things that sting. We treated diplomacy like a boxing ring, but the rand is shaken. The people need work, we promise not to act like such a jerk. Swallow the ego, drop the disdain, or we're gonna be left out in the rain. Oh, Donald, wait, don't close the gate. Can't we just kiss and make up? We see the G20 list and our name is missed. It's a nightmare from which we need to wake up. Miami is sunny and we need the money to keep the jobs flowing and the trade deal sweet. Put aside the pride, let us back inside. Don't leave us stranded on the lonely street. Can't we just kiss and make up? Oh, come on, Ainsley, pick up the phone. Don't make us go it alone. And Miami looks nice this time of year. Just one little kiss. Mwah. Make up, please. The Wyatt Army marches on. For decades in the uniform, he held the line so tight, defending freedom everywhere from morning into night. From Europe down to Africa, the Middle East and home, the colonel hung his boots up, thought he'd rest his weary bones. He looked upon the world today, the chaos and the noise, and saw the messy circus of the digital decoys. He couldn't sit in silence, no, he couldn't look away. He waited in the battle, ready for a brand new day. They tried to shut the signal down, the shadow and the band, but you cannot stop the spirit of a mission-driven man. Folks took notice of the voice, the clarity, the spark, and gathered round the fire. He lit inside the dark, and the Wyatt Army marches on. The signal is steady, the confusion is gone. We don't need the fancies from the leftist side. We've got the colonel and the truth as our guide. Yeah, the Wyatt Army marches on until the subscribers, to the trolls beneath the bridge, to the hate wankers hiding on the digital ridge. It matters not who's listening, the evil or the kind, because the colonel's got the drive to open up the mind. Legacy media serving up the lens of lies and fake, but we shatter all the mirrors for the future's sake. Energy and enthusiasm breaking through the screen, the sharpest moral clarity the world has ever seen. They try to shut the signal down, the shadow and the band, but you cannot stop the spirit of a mission-driven man. We see the objective, yeah, we see it crystal clear. The army is assembled and the victory is here. And the Wyatt Army marches on. The signal is steady, the confusion is gone. We don't need the fantasies from the leftist side. We've got the colonel and the truth as our guide. Yeah, the Wyatt Army marches on until the fake news twilight turns to dawn. We see the objective, we know where we belong. The Wyatt Army marches on. The Wyatt Army marches on. He served the flag with honor, he served it well. Now he serves the truth, saving us from hell. No stymie to his pace, no slowing of the stride, but the Wyatt Army marching right by his side. Truth will triumph.
Marvin Divine. I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming, it's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Monday, December 8th, 2025. Welcome back to the program, folks. Chris live in central Pennsylvania. Just want to do a quick sound check. 8th, 20. Sounds good. All right, we begin today's news broadcast by thanking those who were able to tune in for my interview with Peter Rautenbach from the Happiesport Economic Forum. Thank you for those who were able to watch that. Those who redirected here, and those who missed it, you missed a great conversation. Please go back and watch that at your leisure. And for those who are paying attention now, I begin today's program with a little bit of comedy. Apparently, the economic useless losers, we're going to rename them, the ELL, not the EFF, the economic useless, EUL, excuse me, EUL, the economic useless losers have issued a statement in response to President Trump receiving a peace award from the Federation of National Football, FIFA, the world governing body of soccer, and apparently they're something that begins with P is sore. So let's just go with that, okay? Right. I'd like to say it on air, but I don't want to say it. So let me read this statement issued by the economic morons today. All right, here you go. So, EFF statement on the disgraceful decision by FIFA to award Donald Trump a FIFA Peace Prize, December 7th. And these scumbag, hate-wanking, vile, repulsive, race-hustling slime merchants issued this on December 7th, which, of course, is no mistake. December 7th is the date that the United States was attacked by Imperial Japan by fascists who very much had the same worldview at that time as the EFF today, racial fascists. So the economic freedom fighters, also known as the economic useless losers, condemns the disgraceful and politically motivated decision by FIFA to award former United States President Donald Trump the inaugural so-called Peace Prize. Former United States president. Is this a joke? He's the current president. This reckless act represents direct violation of FIFA's own regulations. No, it doesn't. Which explicitly prohibit the organization from entering partisan political terrain or exploiting football for the benefit of imperialist interests. There's no mention in FIFA's bylaws of the word imperialist. Nowhere in there. Instead of safeguarding the universal integrity of the sport, the universal integrity of FIFA, Sepp Blatter's FIFA? Are we talking about the same organization that has been fixing football matches for 40 years? Is that the same organization whose integrity you're talking about, EFF? FIFA has chosen to appease Donald Trump and his geopolitical interests in the United States ahead of the World Cup hosted on American soil. Donald Trump is not and has never been a symbol of peace, really. I think the people in the Congo and Georgia, Azerbaijan, and many other places around the world would disagree with that. His record reflects aggression, destabilization, authoritarian conduct. Well, your record reflects racism, bigotry, hatred, grifting, and sliminess, EFF. During his presidency, he has actively attempted to overthrow the democratic elected government of Venezuela. No, there's been no effort to overthrow them. Had the United States attempted to overthrow the government of Venezuela, they would no longer see Maduro in power. So you're just lying slime balls. He's never tried to overthrow the government. Not happened. We could take out Maduro in a matter of minutes if we wanted to. So stop lying. He endorsed and benefited from destabilizing actions in Honduras. And these actions are what? Further entrenching chaos in Latin America. America doesn't have to get involved in Latin America for chaos. Latin America is, by definition, chaotic. And has interfered in South Africa's domestic affairs through inflammatory statements and threats of sanctions in order to intimidate sovereign countries' domestic process. See, this is another lie. Donald Trump has never threatened sanctions against South Africa. Never threatened sanctions. These are just liars. These are the stupid people. And the United States has not interfered in South Africa's domestic policies. We have not done anything. Furthermore, he engaged in economic bullying of Canada. Really? Really? By imposing tariffs because Canada imposes unfair tariffs on us. Iceland. No, he's not bullied Iceland. I think you're confusing Greenland and Iceland. And Greenland isn't a country. It's a dependent province of Denmark. So this is how stupid they are. And several European nations using tariffs and coercion as political weapons to enforce compliance with U.S. interests and withdrew the United States from global treaties. Actually, that's untrue. See, this is how stupid these people are. They're not political weapons. They are tools to achieve economic parity and fairness. Again, you morons from the economic freedom fighters, we are paying 10% tariffs to ship our cars to Europe while they're getting 2.5% here. This is why the tariffs are in effect. You're charging outrageous tariffs and artificial barriers and quotas to prevent our products from entering your market while you get duty-free access. These people just need to be taken out and just, and tied to a tree and forced to watch the truth for about 10 hours. It still wouldn't change their stupidity. The United States withdrawing from global treaties? No, we've not withdrawn from any global treaties under Donald Trump. We're going to say the Paris Climate Accord? No, we didn't withdraw from it. We weren't part of it. See, this is the stupidity of people that don't understand politics, but play at politics and wear red jumpsuits. So for the duration of this, I'm just going to have to put this up. So this, so while we're discussing this, let's just, we'll take care of this right now. So, I mean, we've got to put it up there. So where's it at? Come on, now I can't find it. Where is it at? There it is. There it is. Okay, so here you go. So this will represent the EFF since I'm reading their statement. The EFF. Let's just go on with this. Okay, so these idiots. The Paris Climate Accord, the United States was not a signatory to. We were not in that treaty. Never in the treaty. So what have we withdrawn from? We have not withdrawn from any treaties. We've not withdrawn from any United Nations agreements. We've not abrogated any treaties under Donald Trump. These are stupid people. Stupid people who are as bright as, I don't know, 2 matches brought together that are wet. Yeah, undermining peace efforts. What global treaty have we withdrawn from and undermining what peace efforts? Climate agreements and multilateral cooperation. Yeah, we've left the Paris Climate Accord because we never signed it. The Senate has to ratify it. The Senate must ratify the Paris Climate Accord in order for us to be in it. But the Senate never did that under the Democrats or Republicans. So Juju and your little minions don't know what you're talking about again. Climate agreements, yeah, we left the Paris Climate Agreement because it's a scam to defraud wealthy countries and transfer their wealth to poor countries that are failures so they can squander it on corrupt leaders who have their bank accounts in the Cayman Islands and go to Dubai on vacation. No, we're not going to do that. Trump additionally escalated tensions with Iran. Iran escalated tensions. We didn't escalate them. Culminating illegal assassination of General Soleimani. Nope, Soleimani was a combatant in a war that he started against America, and he was a lawful combatant. And he entrenched violent instability across the Middle East. Nope, the Abraham Accords ended conflict in the Middle East. Now Gaza conflict has been ended by Trump, so you people are talking out your bumhole. Above all, Trump remains a loyal supporter of Israel's genocide against Palestinians. Of course, once again, that does not meet the definition of a genocide. and providing political, military, and diplomatic cover of Israel's occupation and crimes against humanity. Well, the United States does provide political and military assistance for Israel's existence, but what crimes against humanity? What crimes? I mean, are the Arabs, the 2 million plus Arabs that live in Israel, are they denied the right to vote? No. Are the 2 million plus Arabs that live in Israel denied the right to serve in the police, in the judiciary, in the Knesset, in the military? Nope, they all serve there. In fact, they rise to the highest ranks. Arabs, Christians, Muslims, both rise to that level. FIFA's decision to invent or repurpose a peace prize for the sole purpose of flattering Donald Trump is shameful. Well, that's a matter of opinion, and your opinion is about as useful as buffalo dung. It amounts to sports washing fascism and is yet another manifestation of a dangerous global trend in which powerful individuals with anti-democratic tendencies are sanitized through international institutions, as if these people know what democracy is. I'm sorry, EFF, that school you were going to build 7 years ago, where is it at? Can you tell us where the school is that you're going to build? You did tell people if you didn't build the school that they should vote you out of office, and your rapidly dwindling party is definitely unpopular. Garrett, thank you for the membership. I need to turn that back on. It reminds me, I have to remember that every time. Sorry about that, folks. So where's it at? Come on, where's it at? Come on, this thing is I always have a hard time finding this thing. I do it very slowly here. There it is, alert box. Oh, it's on. So it's just not coming up. It was on. All right. Football, the most cherished sport on earth, cannot and must not be used to legitimize fascism, imperialism, political manipulation. Well, that is the whole purpose of political manipulation. That's why it exists. That's why it's been such a corrupt body for so years. The EFF rejects this award with contempt and is already severely called, severely? Or do you mean severely? Severely called on FIFA to cancel the U.S. as host for the 2026 tournament due to the treatment of foreigners, particularly from the global south, and amounts to human rights violations. No, see, you morons, once again, cancel the U.S. because we are kicking illegal foreigners out. You're doing the same thing in South Africa. You're kicking illegal aliens out, except your xenophobic population murders them and torches their businesses. We don't do that. We simply remove people who violate our sovereignty and send them home. If they happen to come from global south, maybe it ought to send a message to you about how screwed up the global south is. The existence of ICE, which acts as a vigilante group targeting anyone in America they do not approve of based on race and color, and implementing off-the-book deportations, places all visitors to the country at risk. What a bunch of nonsense. What an absolute bunch of nonsense. The Immigration Customs Enforcement has been around for decades. They're not a vigilante group. They're a federal law enforcement body, and they are removing criminals from our midst. And apparently that hurts the feelings of the incompetents who can't build a schoolhouse in South Africa. We call on FIFA to reverse this peace prize and restore the integrity of its governance. Football must belong to the people of the world. No, it doesn't belong to you morons. And I call on the EFF to just go away. You expose your stupidity on a daily basis. You're really dumber. I mean, box of rocks is actually not even a good description for you. The ineptitude, the incompetence, the race hustling, the violent. Yeah, these people talk about democracy, yet they sing from murdering white people because, get this, because they're white. And they think that's part of their heritage, when most of them weren't even alive when the liberation struggle took place. Idiots. You see, I think Juju has discovered there's an arrest warrant for him out. And should he leave South Africa, he may find himself being one of those people incarcerated, not by ICE, but by U.S. Marshals. Yes. You see, this scumbag and his party, who claim that they care about democratic values, threatened the life of President Donald Trump. Remember that? Yeah, that was reported to the Secret Service. So this pathetic little wailing, thrashing, dying entity known as the Economic Freedom Fighters, also known as the Red Teletubbies by my viewers, with love and compassion, they are on the way out, and these are the thrashings of losers. So that concludes our opening monologue about the Economic Freedom Fighters. Yeah, his farm is 10 kilometers from yours. He says he's going to build a school in Mohali's. Yeah, there was no school. It's just a lie. Just a lie. And people are dumb enough to believe it. Fill up dirt roads with cement as they're fixing potholes. Yeah. Yeah, I know. It was in the news. They filled up dirt roads with the potholes on a dirt road with concrete. They're dumb. Yep, they're dumb. They're dumber than dumb. I mean, dumb doesn't even begin to describe these people. Hey, Mike. With Peter was fantastic. Thank you. Yeah, well, the EFF won't be in the World Cup. So I don't have to worry about being cut out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the 374 people showing up on a Monday. We usually get a bigger crowd. What's going on? Where are people at? Maybe they'll come in as we get started. We did start late because of the interview. So let's get to the news. We've got some news to hang on a second. I've got to close out that Zoom session there. Close that music off the Wyatt Army. Okay, and then that'll take care of that. Righto, let's get to the news, ladies and gentlemen. Cyril Ramaphosa has doubled down on his racist progressive agenda. Yes, the government of South Africa has said that the only solution for South Africa is the African National Congress. But for 31 years, people have been beating their head against the wall under ANC governance, and things are only getting demonstrably worse. He says that now is not the time to abandon transformation. Of course, transformation is a dog whistle, a code for racial revenge. That's what it is. It's not redress. It's not improvement. It's simply hurting people because you feel you were hurt by other people. And that's morally reprehensible. And that's I mean, it doesn't get any worse than this. Ramaphosa calls the ANC NGC to defend economic transformation. He says now is not the right time to abandon economic redress. Economic redress. Now we've gone from Ubuntu and Rainbow Nation to redress. Yes, that's right. It's about racial grievances and revenge, which is what Donald Trump said. That's what Marco Rubio so eloquently said a few days ago. President Cyril Ramaphosa says the ANC is still correct vehicle for economic transformation. Renewal requires that we reaffirm the organizational culture and traditions of the ANC as a movement rooted among the people, representing their interests, concerns, and aspirations. What? What? What in the heck? Seriously? I mean, honestly, what the hell are they talking about? It doesn't make any sense at all. It doesn't make any sense at all. ANC's 1,800 delegates gathered from branches of the country around the country to gave him a rousing round of applause. Yeah, it's a midterm review between national elective conferences. We should examine how our policies and programs must be recalibrated and adjusted to better serve the people of our country. Delegates must interrogate how the ANC must be strengthened, renewed, and recalibrated. Strengthened, renewed, and recalibrated. How many times are we going to hear this from this guy? In the last 3 years, inflation has fallen from 7% to 3.6%. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Unbelievable. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Muttley said it well. I mean, you know, Muttley has the perfect response to Cyril Ramaphosa. He really does. This is Muttley. Muttley's response to Ramaphosa. How else are you going to respond to that nonsense? That's just silly. That's just silly.
Clouds are gathering, clouds are gathering, clouds are gathering, tata, clouds are gathering, clouds are gathering, clouds are gathering, it's raining.
Oh, dear God. Pemi Modina. Indeed, my friend, clouds are gathering. Clouds are definitely gathering. Something's missing here. I can't find it. So I was looking for something. Sorry. Let me try one more place. It should have been there, but it's not finding in the search. Come on. This computer is indexing again slowly. So let me try it here. It's going to be, there it is. I don't think it's here. No, nothing there. It doesn't make any sense. Oh, boy. It should be down here somewhere. Can't find it. Okay, is it here? I'm looking. I don't see it. It looks like it's gone. I wouldn't have taken it out. Huh. Interesting. Anyway, not really important. All right, so I thought I was going to play that, but I can't play that now. So yeah, Cyril Ramaphosa wants, he says the legacy of colonial dispossession and apartheid remains a defining feature in South African society, reflecting persistent inequality in wealth, income, and access to land. How is that? How is that? You've had control for 31 years, yet you have persistent inequality? That's not racism, colonialism. That's ANCism. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not racism, colonialism, it's ANCism. ANCism. Police identify persons of interest in the assassination of Marius Flam Vandemeve. The story is not dying, thankfully. Yep. National Police Commissioner Fanny Masamola says that they have identified 3 persons of interest in the murder of Mshlanga Commission secret witness Marius Vandemeve, who wasn't so secret, gunned down outside his home in Brockpan Friday night. One has been taken in for questioning. Vandemeve was killed less than 3 weeks after his testimony before the Mshlanga Commission. Thank you for your subscription there, George Horn. Appreciate that. Oh, my goodness. We are fighting for our rights, say ANC employees. Lutuli House staff picket outside the NGC over non-payment of salaries. On the first day of the ANC's National General Council has been marred by Lutuli House staff picketing over non-payment of their salaries. Leaders and members of the ANC, including its president, were confronted by staff members holding up placards and singing struggle songs as they drove into the Birchwood Hotel in the East Rand for the NGC. The staff sang songs such as Silvela Amagulelo Etu, we are fighting for our rights, as motorcades of senior officials came in. Outstanding salaries to be paid. The ANC, once again, cannot be paid. Can't pay their salaries. I feel a song coming on, ladies and gentlemen. I feel a song coming on. Let me just make some notes on that very quickly here. Well, first off, it's not your right to be paid a salary, so you're confused about that. So the ANC is being picketed. The ANC is being protested by ANC employees. But folks, there's empathy at the ANC headquarters. That's right. You see that Fikile Mabalula is one of the ANC staff awaiting his November salary. Yeah. Fikile Mabalula has not been paid. Thank you for 35 Rand. Clouds are gathering. South Africa's been dispersing millions to its neighbors and allies, including 70 million in aid to South Sudan, 41 million disaster relief to Zimbabwe, 140 million to Cuba, and 50 million assistance to war-torn Palestine. Well, we know this. I reported on the money. It was 500 million Rand was spent on Cuban doctors who supposedly were helping during COVID. Remember that? Yes, indeed. Thank you for that. So, yeah, but clouds are gathering, but not in South Africa unless they're bad clouds. So, Fikile Mabalula apparently is one of those poor South African ANC members who isn't being paid. Well, shame. All the stuff he spews, he ought to be paid well for that. ANC Secretary General Fikile Mabalula has disclosed he's among the party's senior management staff members who have not received their November salaries. Wow. Shame you're not in Parliament. You still get paid, buddy. This serves to inform you that delay in payment of ANC staff salaries month of November, which impacts the ability of our staff to meet their financial obligations to you. We intend to work around it to ensure this mishap of non-payment of people is resolved. It does not give us a good image as an organization. We intend to resolve it, says Fikile. But the problem is that this isn't the first time. You went a year and a half without paying salaries previously. You think people find different jobs. Joshi, thank you for your subscription. Appreciate that. No room for criminals. Sir Ramaphosa declares no room in the ANC for criminals. Well, you certainly have a lot of room for the criminally accused, the criminally charged, Zandile Gumeda, Ace Magashule, Paul Mashatile, Cyril Ramaphosa. The list just goes on and 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 on of people who are criminally accused. Mary is back. She says her son gained employment after he was shot. He was retrenched 7 months later due to new BE quotas. He will start a new job in January. Okay. Yeah, but he's claiming that the party has no room for criminals. ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa delivered a stern ultimatum to party members that criminal activity, including corruption, extortion, and factional policies, have no place in the party. That's right. There's no place for criminality in the ANC. No place. Oops. I'm sorry to hear that your mother died, Carlene. Ramaphosa is responding to the latest national disaster in South Africa, and this is, of course, a discussion about gender-based violence. Is it a disaster? Is it a classification or a declaration? So there's some dispute about whether it's a classification or declaration. He said that it's a declaration. Work without compensation. There you go. There you go. Work. Oh, that's it. Work without compensation. Work without. That's the name of the song. Have them have pending criminal case. Yeah. Excuse me. Mass retrenchments in South Africa are averted as Eskom extends the last-minute lifeline to smelters, but it really doesn't make any sense. I don't know what they've agreed to here. A memorandum of understanding between Eskom and ferrochrome smelters will help avert plant closures. How? NERSA is currently processing an application for an interim tariff adjustment for the smelters. The committed relief comes at 11th hour as Glencore Marafa Chrome venture. Notice that Glencore Marafa. Glencore was the name of the company. Glencore Marafa is because of BEE. Black folks running the show. Yeah, so nothing against black folks, but the lie that the mining industry is controlled by white folks. It's just a total fiction. Eskom has signed an agreement with Samancor Chrome and Glencore Marafa Chrome venture that has effectively stopped mass retrenchments at ferrochrome smelters that would have started as early as this week. Well, industry has sounded the alarm this year to warn that virtually all remaining smelters would soon close, affecting 300,000 jobs. So how many jobs have already been lost by going from 19 to just 3 smelters? Ridiculous. Capitec has made a purchase. Yes, that's right. They've bought Wallet Doc Holdings in a deal that could reach 400 million rand. Wallet Doc was established back in 2015 and provides payment gateway for services for merchants, including in-app payments, digital wallets, and instant EFT, and more. Ooh, tell us more. Yes, well, acquisition smart for them. The SAFM presenter who is accused of illegally recruiting mercenaries for Russia's war and her co-accused were granted bail after spending several days in prison or in jail. 5 people arrested OR Tambo on charges linked to recruitment to the Russian military were granted bail in Kempton Park Magistrates Court today. Nonkululeko Mantula, a senior broadcaster, was granted bail of 30,000 rand. Zolani Ntuli was granted 15,000, and the others were 5,000. So 30,000 rand, it's $2,000. I'm sure she can scratch that together. So the police know who the shooter is and haven't arrested him, Mary. Well, I'm not surprised. Well, we talked about this horrific story on the N2, presumably down around Somerset West, where this retired teacher from Bloemfontein was stabbed to death in a smash and grab. Retired Bloemfontein teacher was stabbed to death in a smash and grab robbery shortly after arriving in Cape Town on Friday, leaving family and friends and former pupils devastated. Karen van Aert, 64, and her husband were in traffic at the time. The couple I didn't know her husband was there. The couple had flown to Cape Town to celebrate their only grandchild's birthday and were following a route from Cape Town International Airport to Vredenburg, supplied by their GPS, which took them via Jake's Gerwell Drive. Oh, okay, this wasn't on the N2 down by Somerset West. While waiting at traffic, I know that traffic light in Jake's Gerwell Drive. Yeah, we're waiting at traffic light on the corner of Jake's Fly Avenue and Jake's Gerwell, a known smash and grab hotspot between these two places. A man approached the vehicle, smashed the window, and attempted to steal her handbag. She was stabbed multiple times during the incident. Her brother-in-law, Uli Tummelman, said she had called to let the family know they were safe while collecting the hire car. This is the last time her sister would hear her voice. They stopped at a red traffic light and saw people running over the road. The next moment, they were around the car, and one hit the window and started attacking her with a knife and grabbing the handbag. She was covered in blood. Yeah, I don't understand what they were doing there. Where were they headed? So, yep. Herman and her husband stopped someone and asked for directions. The man showed him the way to the N1 City Hospital. It was there that Timo and his wife received a call asking them to pray for her life. She didn't have a heartbeat, was on arrival, and she lost too much blood. Jeez. Feels like an untrue story. Can't it be that Jesus picked the prettiest flower? You're always in our hearts. She lived in Mbombela, Nelspruit, taught grade 3, and retired in 2018. These are places that need to be rooted out. People need to be rooting out. It's a hideous world, Dylan. How you doing? I haven't seen you in a couple days. Well, major win for people living in housing complexes in the States and South Africa. Landmark ruling by the Supreme Court of Appeal has confirmed that homeowners, bodies, corporate, and those in residential schemes can bypass community schemes and ombudsman service and take their disputes directly to court. There you go. According to Jolene Wasserman, Director of Community Schemes and Compliance at Santon-based law firm VDM Incorporated, the ruling ends years of uncertainty around the laws. Well, that's good news for homeowners. They can go to court. In Sudan, the Rapid Support Forces have seized the Helig oil field as they push to control Sudan. It's the largest oil field in Sudan. It's the main processing facility for neighboring South Sudan's oil exports. There's a damaged building from the fighting. Paramilitary Rapid Support Forces says it seized control of strategic Helig oil field in Sudan's South Kordofan region. The claim today was supported later by a statement issued by the military government of Sudanese armed forces saying they're withdrawn from the area. Wow, things are not looking good here. And there's where the oil field is, in the very south of Sudan. So they've gone from Darfur to Kordofan, and it looks like the Sudanese military is on the retreat all over the place. And where's the South African government? Are they negotiating peace? Where's the EFF? They're calling Donald Trump a man who doesn't deserve a peace prize. Where's the EFF? Or were they negotiating for peace in Sudan? The United States is there. We have negotiators there. Yep. Benin's government says it has thwarted a military coup attempt. A group of soldiers took over the radio station, but they've been thwarted. Benin's government said Sunday it had thwarted a coup attempt by a group of soldiers who announced their takeover of state television. Early Sunday, 8 soldiers who called themselves the Military Committee for Refoundation said the president and all state institutions have been removed and that all land and sea borders have been closed, and they justified the action by saying it would restore national cohesion. Of course, this comes on top. There was gunfire. This comes on top of coups all across West Africa, which has become a basket case in the past few years. The fascists in Australia have their ban coming into effect in just a couple days. Australia's under-16 social media ban starts December 10th. How will it work? Well, the move has been applauded and criticized with concerns about children's mental health to issues of privacy. Australia will introduce the world's first strict national ban on social media for children under 16 from December 10th, amid broader concerns for mental health and cyber harms afflicting the nation's youth. Big tech firms like Meta, TikTok, Reddit, Snapchat, Twitch, Kick, Threads, and YouTube are obligated to take reasonable steps to stop young people from coming on their platforms or face penalties of up to $50 million. Wow. So now they are blocking the content because they've taken the power away from parents. Unbelievable. Fascist. Well, with elections looming in Hong Kong, they're trying to stifle dissent. They've already called in foreign journalists to threaten them with deportation should they report on the elections or the fire in those buildings. The suppression campaign shows the Hong Kong government is using Beijing's playbook to respond to crises that could mobilize large groups of aggrieved people. A former district councilor was arrested Sunday for a Facebook post about the fire. Police called and organized on Tuesday news conference of civil society leaders about the fire, forcing them to cancel the event. Officials are particularly concerned about quelling dissent in the run-up to legislative elections this Sunday, even though all the candidates are pro-Beijing patriots. The Communist Chinese have destroyed Hong Kong. Of course they would. The Brits were cowards in giving it up. Thailand launches airstrikes along the border with Cambodia as tensions reignite, and this threatens the peace deal that Trump has negotiated there. Thailand launched airstrikes along their border on Monday as both sides accused the other of breaking a ceasefire. It erupted into 5 days of combat back in July, killed dozens of soldiers. Trump pushed the Southeast Asian nations to sign a truce in October, but tensions continue to simmer. China's trade surplus climbs to $1 trillion for the first time. While the South African government bemoans America's tariffs and the Europeans whine about how suddenly they have to be acting fairly to U.S. products, the world is ignoring the fact that the Chinese are amassing wealth at an unprecedented level despite a failing economy based on slave labor and oppression, and the world has shipped its factories to China. It needs to stop. President Trump's tariffs weren't enough to hold back the global export flood by China, which pushed last year's record in just 11 months. China got the world's attention last year when it announced that its trade surplus had hit almost $1 trillion, in excess of exports to imports. No country had ever reached. Now China has surged through that milestone in just 11 months. They have accumulated a trade surplus of 1.08 trillion. They are fleecing the world. China is basically fleecing with their unfair trade practices. A trade surplus that has grown from just a few billion back in 2005 to $1 trillion. Surged since COVID from 300 billion to this. Unbelievable. And the world just looks the other way. Chinese jets locked radar on Japanese fighters. Tokyo says incidents in international waters near Okinawa were dangerous as diplomatic tensions with Beijing simmer. Chinese warplanes locked radar on Japanese military aircraft in the seas near the Japanese island of Okinawa on Saturday. 2 separate incidents that Tokyo said were dangerous acts. A Chinese J-15 jet fighter that took off from Chinese Navy's Liang aircraft carrier on Saturday locked its radar on Japanese F-15 that was investigating its presence in the airspace over international waters near Okinawa. The second similar incident occurred 2 hours later, involving a different Japanese plane. Like many countries, Japan conducts Air Defense Identification Zone operations, ADAZ, to identify aircraft coming close to its airspace. This radar lock-on incident constitutes a dangerous act that exceeds the scope necessary for safe flight, said Kozumi, the defense minister. But the defense minister of Japan is mistaken. A radar lock, which is to lock on for a missile fire, is an act of war. China has committed an act of war against Japanese aircraft operating in international airspace. These are who the Chinese are. They're criminals. Can Germany stop extremism? Well, they want to ban the Alternative for Deutschland because they're just fascist. Banning Alternative for Germany, a far-right party, might seem undemocratic, but Germany's constitution allows such prohibitions to prevent a repeat of Nazism. That's a bit of a stretch to their Washington Post. Aaron Wiener and Emma Talkoff. In an address to commemorate Kristallnacht, the 1938 Nazi pogrom against Jews, German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier offered a solution for the resurgence of right-wing extremism, banning the nationalist anti-immigrant Alternative for Germany. Surveys show the AfD, now the second largest party in the parliament, is at least as popular as Chancellor Merz's center-right Christian Democratic Union, attracting far more support than Steinmeier's SDP. Steinmeier's comments further stoked a heated debate in Germany over whether to ban the party, which has been classified as extremist group by German domestic intelligence. Of course, German domestic intelligence is an unreliable, discredited organization. The same people who gave intelligence to the Stasi throughout the Cold War and betrayed every secret we ever gave them. That's why we gave them so few secrets, because they couldn't be trusted. So who trusts them now? Nobody. U.S. envoy Howard to meet Greenland and Danish officials at joint summit and their strained relations. President Trump's ambassador to Denmark, Kenneth Howard, is in Greenland's capital, Nuuk, this week for a series of talks with foreign diplomats from Greenland and Denmark, even as the U.S. pushes for more control over the island nation and its mineral-rich resources. The visit kicks off today when Mr. Howard participates in joint committee meetings with Greenland officials. The meetings are intended to promote the direct dialogue and cooperation between U.S., Greenland, and Denmark on civilian and military issues. Permanent committee and joint committee meetings are held annually. Typically, the meetings alternate locations between the U.S. and Greenland, with last year's meeting held in the U.S., while the talks normally cover ways for Denmark, Greenland, and U.S. to collaborate more effectively on defense and civilian issues. So there you go. This week, Mr. Howard may take the week as an opportunity to push for more control over the island, but they don't. That's a supposition. They have no evidence of that. Tensions escalated between the U.S. and Nuuk in August after a report uncovered that several individuals with ties to the White House had worked to create a covert influence campaign in Greenland. Mark Stroh, the U.S. diplomat in Denmark, was summoned by the Danish ministry to answer questions about the alleged operation. So, they want people to be friendly to the U.S., and they use the media for that. Surprise, surprise. Trump has unveiled a $12 billion bailout for farmers. It comes as the agriculture sector grapples with the fallout from his tariffs. The Trump administration is planning to announce $12 billion in aid to U.S. farmers. The aid package is expected to be unveiled at the White House on Monday afternoon, where Trump is holding a roundtable with farmers. Much of the aid, $11 billion, will be in the form of one-time payments through the Farmer Bridge Assistance Program, which helps U.S. crop farmers. The remaining $1 billion will go towards commodities not covered under the Bridge Assistance Program. The aid will be a shot in the arm to soybean farmers who have faced devastating financial loss this year. It's a challenging year for the American farmer. Crop prices remain low, especially after harvesting the largest crop on record this fall. In the first half of 2025, farm bankruptcies rose by 60% compared with 2024. Roughly half of all American soybeans are exported each year, about a quarter of which go to China. The rest are processed into oil for cooking and biofuels, such as diesel or meal for livestock feed. So, subsidies. D.C. police chief has decided to step down. She's resigning. Another diversity hire? I don't know. D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser said Monday that Chief Pamela Smith is resigning from Metro Police Department more than 2 years after leading the force through a generational crime wave that terrorized residents. I mean, after the Trump administration cleans up the crime. When Chief Smith stepped up to lead the Metropolitan Police Department, we had no time to waste, said Ms. Bowser. She came in at a very challenging time for our community and a significant urgency to reverse the crime trends in our city. Of course, the crime trends have fallen now, and they attribute that to her service. Perhaps, but certainly to what Trump has done. 43 wasteful contracts worth $3.5 billion, ceiling value terminated. Department of Health and Human Services has registered the most savings under DOGE. Federal agencies have terminated and de-scoped 43 wasteful contracts with a ceiling value of $3.5 billion, saving $220 million in taxpayer funds. The canceled contracts include the $4.3 million for the Department of Treasury contract to develop a comprehensive strategy and management approach aimed at human-centered transformation and enhanced partnerships. $29 million Department of Commerce contract resulting in providing necessary staff to perform program management, provide analysis, and support to managing projects. Oh my goodness. So far, DOGE has saved $214 billion, which amounts to $1,329 per taxpayer. But they were supposed to save hundreds of billions, which was never going to happen. I said so at the time. The mayor-elect of New York, the fascist Islamist-in-chief, encouraged New Yorkers to violate the law and stand up to immigration customs enforcement, know their rights. Well, they have no rights if they're illegal aliens. New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani is encouraging immigrants to stand up to ICE in a video released amid recent immigration enforcement tweets. Days after immigration raids in Manhattan, he told immigrants they have the right to refuse to speak or comply with U.S. Immigration Customs Enforcement in the social media video posted Sunday. We can all stand up to ICE if you know your rights. He warned the people that immigration agents are legally allowed to lie, to which people have the right to remain silent. Well, Mr. Mamdani is actively undermining federal law and should be indicted for criminal activity. That's even a dumbass, you'll be indicted for criminal activity. The Supreme Court will examine Trump's authority to fire independent agency members. The federal government argues that 1935 precedent limiting presidential authority over the FTC no longer applies because the agency's power has grown. The Supreme Court is poised to consider overturning a 90-year-old precedent that limits the reasons why presidents may remove members of the Federal Trade Commission and independent federal agencies. Garrett, thank you for the 40 Rand super chat. This all came about because Rebecca Slaughter, who was fired back in March from the FTC. She's former chief counsel to Chuck E. Schumer and was first appointed by Trump in 2018 to a seat reserved for Democrats in the FTC and was then reappointed in 2023 by Joe Biden. But he decided to terminate her because she adds no value to the body. Paramount is now making a hostile takeover bid for Warner after Netflix struck a deal. The offer comes days after the entertainment company reached a $72 billion deal with Netflix. So, Paramount launched a hostile takeover bid for Warner Brothers Discovery Monday, taking its case for acquiring the storied entertainment company directly to shareholders just days after Warner agreed to a deal with Netflix. Paramount, which is run by David Ellison, is arguing that its all-cash $30 offer for Warner, the owner of networks such as CNN, TBS, and HGTV, as well as HBO Max, is a better deal for shareholders and more likely to pass regulatory muster. Paramount said its offer provides substantial benefit of $18 billion more in cash than Netflix. Wow. They lost the bidding war. Now they're going to up it. Trump says that he has other methods to impose tariffs if the Supreme Court limits his powers. President Trump on December 7th urged the Supreme Court to uphold his tariff program, saying a ruling against his use of emergency and economic powers would weaken national security, while also saying that there are alternative legal tools to keep the duties in place. We'll see. Los Angeles has a coal ban. Los Angeles recently cut ties with coal to usher in a 100% clean energy goal by 2035, which officials are touting as residents suffer from high electricity rates. In 2024, coal and petroleum powered 11% of Los Angeles, but the city announced Thursday that it is no longer receiving energy generated from coal as of last week. Democratic Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass touted the city's departure from coal as a historic milestone, though the power supply loss likely spells bad news for Los Angeles residents who already pay 20% more for electricity than the national average because of the green energy unicorn nonsense that Californians believe in. So sad for Californians. Sad, sad, sad. Well, rural America relies on foreign doctors because we've allowed them to invade our country. The Trump administration's demand for companies to pay $100,000 fee for hiring an immigrant worker using H-1B visas created turmoil among rural health providers. The overworked kidney doctors in this small town were supposed to get reinforcement this fall with the arrival of a new colleague from India. Shelby, North Carolina. When the Trump administration demanded the companies pay a $100,000 visa to bring highly skilled workers from abroad, they need healthcare professionals. Well, this is the problem. We should be investing in Americans. They should be the ones that are actually getting healthcare. And they should be in the medical field, not foreign nationals. Well, Minnesota Representative Ilhan Omar defends the criminals who defrauded people of $1 billion. Yep, she appeared on Face the Nation. I want to say, that this has an impact on Somalis because we're also taxpayers in Minnesota. Now, I'm afraid that's untrue. Virtually no Somalis are taxpayers in America. They're either Americans or they're Somalis. If they're Somalis, they can get the hell out unless they have a green card to stay here as a permanent residence. No, you're not Somalis, Ilhan Omar. That is the problem. You are a fifth element, an insurgent movement within our ranks to undermine the integrity of this nation. We can also have benefited from the program, the money that was stolen. And so it's been really frustrating for people to not acknowledge the fact that we are also, as Minnesotans, as taxpayers, really upset and angry about the fraud that has occurred. But you're not. You're asking for leniency for the criminals who stole the money. And asked about whether it was all about negligence or that the political fear of alienating the Somali community. You have to remember that the woman who led the program is a Caucasian woman. And that was her way of making sure that this would continue to happen by using whatever rhetoric was available to her. That's Amy Bach, but she was convicted along with alleged co-chief accomplice, Somali restaurant owner Salim Saeed. Salim Saeed is the restaurant where she held her campaign in 2018 for Congress. So she's closely tied to the criminals, closely tied to them. Nearly a year after Pacific Palisades has burned, there's a new house. Finally, a place has been built. But it's just a show home. It's a weird-looking home, too. These lots are weird and long. New house at 915 Kagawa Street in LA's Pacific Palisades neighborhood features quartz countertops, an open floor plan, a pool, a fire pit, and a fence just tall enough to obscure the view from ground level. The scene from the second-story windows is less appealing. Acres of dirt lots, barren trees, and a handful of construction sites, painful reminders of the costliest wildfire on record. And that is the house that's been rebuilt. But it's a show home. The owner of the lot, the developer, Thomas James Holmes, bought the property 2 months before the fire for $3.4 million and was already planning to tear down the house to build a new house. And there is the Palisades fire back in January. And only one house has been rebuilt in that area of Los Angeles. Wow. Just one. Imagine that. Imagine that. A year later. Marjorie Taylor Greene proves that she is indeed, in fact, a Faraya, a trader going on to 60 Minutes to tell fairy tales. She went on to 60 Minutes in an effort to shock the public. Yep. I watched many of my colleagues go from making fun of Trump, making fun of how he talks, making fun of me constantly, to supporting him, to when he won the primary in 2024, they all started, excuse my language, kissing his ass and decided to put on a MAGA hat for the first time. She talked about the Epstein file. She says, I fully believe these women deserve everything they're asking. They're asking for all of it to come out. They deserve it. And Trump was furious with me. Despite her public assertions, the president argued the Republican Party has never been so united. Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene's true colors come out. We knew that all along. IBM has struck a deal to buy an AI company, Confluent. The deal for the data infrastructure company is one of IBM's largest in recent memory. Huge deal, $11 billion. IBM agreed to pay $31 a share for Confluent. The Wall Street Journal reported on Sunday evening that IBM and Confluent were in advanced deal talks. And a market value of $8 billion as of Friday, while IBM's was around $290 billion. Confluent provides technology that helps manage streams of real-time data used in big artificial intelligence models. An AI boom has boosted the need for its capabilities from companies in sectors including retail, technology, and financial services. So, pardoned Democratic Representative Henry Cuellar says that he was set up in a sting operation attempting to bribe him by the Department of Justice under Joe Biden. The Democrats tried to set him up. Department of Justice indicted Cuellar in early May of 2024, alleging he accepted roughly $600,000 in bribes from Azerbaijani government-linked oil and gas company and a Mexican bank in exchange for steering U.S. foreign policy in Azerbaijan's favor. During the interview on Sunday morning, Futures with Maria Bartiromo, Cuellar said federal officials set up what he describes as a fake company and financial account set up to funnel money to him as a supposed bribe. But he didn't fall for it. He claims he never fell for it. He said they got all the 302s for the evidence, the testimony. But Trump is upset because Cuellar has decided to run for election as a Democrat. I guess Trump thought when he pardoned him this week or last week that he would run as Republican, but he feels betrayed by Cuellar. Whatever, you never should have pardoned the guy. Never should have pardoned. And this is the thing that Mad Max sent earlier. News 24 reports that South Africa has been dispersing millions to its neighbors and allies, including 70 million in South Sudan, 41 to Zimbabwe, 140 million to Cuba, and 50 million in war-torn Palestine. But nothing for South Africans. There you go. That's the news for today, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done already. We've got a slow news today. What's going on? What's going on? Did people leave because I hurt feelings with the refugee chat yesterday? Is that what happened? Apparently I hurt some feelings. At this point in time, I trust China more than Trump. Well, that's your prerogative, Jost. If you trust communists who murder people and harvest organs, I mean, that says a lot about you, doesn't it? It says a lot about you. Cape Townians love Cape Town, but think Joburg is worse. What in the world are they thinking of all the gang violence that happens on a day-to-day basis all over the province? Well, Josh, yeah, it's a hell of a lot safer in parts of Cape Town than it is in Joburg. That's for damn sure. The CBS interview didn't go well for Omar. I think the leftist presenter was a little shocked by our answers. Probably. Yep. Thank you, Gerda, for the 40 Rand super chat. Clouds are gathering. Oh, there's another. BBC released this morning. You know, that's fine, but I can't show that documentary. That'd be a strike. White Asylum. White Asylum. It is an asylum. Yeah, this is the one we were talking about. But I mean, I can't show that. I'll get a copyright strike. That's BBC stuff. Thank you for that, Mad Max. I'll show it on screen, but I can't play it. So that's not it. Where's that? There you go. White Asylum. Why is it called Asylum? It's not Asylum. These people are stupid. Anyway. What's for lunch? I have no idea, Garrett. Yeah, Arctic, that's correct. It was a British doctor, an Asian British doctor, who was murdered in front of his wife and child on Airport Junction Road. Went too far into the township. Missed a turn, didn't get to the airport. Yep. It wasn't Airport Junction Road because it doesn't go into the township, but the next road. He missed it and wound up in the wrong place. Yep. What else we got here? Anti-Floyd, thank you for your membership. Advent calendar. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Thanks. And this should be 17 now. "17 days to Christmas." Today is the 8th. Here's 8. Boy, a lot easier than last year. I had a hard time finding these things last year. There's one right there. Okay. And we'll go with this one. Where's 8 at on here? This one, 12. There's 8. That is a half moon. The first one was a star. So 2 space-related ones there. It's ironic. And the Kinder Schokolade. They call it a countdown calendar. It's an Advent calendar. See how they try to de-Christianize everything? There's 7. There's 8 right in the middle. Little birdie there. It's a proper Kinder Schokolade package there. Okay, there we go. There's the Advents calendar. Thank you for reminding me of that. Boy, I keep forgetting that this year for some reason. Keep forgetting them every day. BBC always gets wrong. They're affiliated with SABC. What does BBC have to do with sticking their nose in Southern business? I don't know. I can't get grabs until the spring. I mean, I could get them if I go to Maryland and get them from North Carolina or from Louisiana, but they're just not the same. Your daughter got married on Saturday. Your uncle died on Sunday. Your father is the last man standing with 16 children. Wow, that's crazy. Sorry to hear about your loss. Someone thinks China's a nice place. Must really do more research. I prefer Western culture. Well, Joshua thinks that it's better. It's better than Trump. William says, thank you for the news today, Colonel. Always appreciate the efforts and honest assessment. I have my interview this week. Good luck with that. Mad Max has given us another one. Thank you. Little clouds are gathering here, folks. We need to get the Richie Riches back in the program. Another vigil. What is this? Hello, for here you probably don't read about news. Community leader out of Danville, Alansport, Chris Stidham, was gunned down responding to an armed robbery. Wow, no, I don't know about this story. Missed the refugee chat yesterday, so my feelings are not hurt due to traveling quite a distance. No, some people's feelings were hurt. Yeah, that's not the crabs I want in Cape Town. That's the wrong one. So this is a vigil for Chris Stidham, who was killed. Folks, what needs to happen in South Africa is a military-like operation that gets control of the situation where they travel in large numbers in armored vehicles and just hunt these people down who are doing this. I mean, these cops, off on their own, one or two, just can't handle this. It's all about de-Christianizing that Maxi City push in Dallas. Will the town still be allowed to proceed? I don't know about that. Today was a tiring day. Whoever thinks DA is not doing his part regarding policing, and here I am going to state, I don't always agree with DA. Policing is a national responsibility, not a provincial one. Yes and no, Mary. There are municipal police departments, Johannesburg and Ekurhuleni, also in Durban and Cape Town have municipal police departments, and those are the responsibility of the provincial or the local authorities, the metro authorities. So yes and no. Policing is a national competency, but there are local police departments, and those things are the responsibility of. So the DA does bear some responsibility in the Western Cape for that. They do. So, Chinese, what's this? So I haven't seen Josh say anything since I jumped into the chat. Josh was saying he preferred China and didn't give an explanation as to why. Has he disappeared? Have you left, Josh? I know you're still here. I know you're still here. And there's the super chat. Thank you for that, Emily. We received provisional. Okay, congratulations. Yeah, no, I know it's a Muslim town, but I don't have an update on it. That's why I said I really can't talk about it. But it was banned. Wasn't it banned by Greg Abbott, I thought? Yeah, so that's not going to happen. Maxi Pad City. Not going to happen. All right, folks, be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done it already, okay? All right? Cool beans. So we got a late start for this broadcast, but I just want to share the following with you, okay? I mean, it's just insane. Oh, it's been 3 weeks. Okay, get a grip. I mean, honestly, people have no idea what's involved here. A thorough background investigation must be completed. You have to prove who you are, where you're from, what you're saying is true. That has to take place. There's an administrative process that has to take place. Interviews have to be conducted. Medical screening has to be done. All this stuff takes time. Well, there you have it from Baby Wyatt, telling you what's going on with the refugee program. All right, some people had questions about refugee stuff earlier. I'll be happy to answer those now. Banned Sharia law, but wasn't sure if it would affect the town. Well, it will affect it. Yeah, of course it will. Yeah. Yep. So if you've got questions about the refugee thing, go ahead, fire them off now. Someone was in the interview asking questions about refugee. I don't understand that. People obviously don't know what the channel is, don't know who me. Someone just told them to come here and they ask questions, and that's fine. But please respect the chat and the broadcast. I'm here to answer questions now. So you got questions, bring them. Come on, let's bring them. Bring the questions, or I'll write a song. I write the songs to make the whole world sing. I will write a song, folks. It's time to write a song, is it not? I mean, we came up with one a while ago. I posted a comment in the BBC refugee PSYOP and they hide my comment all day. I released it this afternoon. They probably review it. That's not unusual for them to do. It's National Responsibility ANC do not support the Western Province Police because it's run by the DA. The DA have increased Metro Policing to try and address. Well, exactly. Our security check changed from completed to in progress. Colette, Cyril, we've covered this many, many times. It's just an administrative thing. Don't lose any sleep over that. You never completed. That never should have come across. It was provisional completion until they finished all the steps, and they haven't finished all the steps. So I think that dashboard has caused more problems than it's solved. It's not really helping. Okay, you're welcome. Yeah, I wouldn't lose sleep. It's happened to many, many people. So people are saying, "Oh, what? That now I don't have it." No, nothing's changed. It never should have said completed. I think it was a misunderstanding how it's done. No, you can't pay for your own flights. Why do people ask that question? You're not a tourist. You're not an immigrant. You're a refugee. You cannot pay for your own flights because you can't fly on your own. You fly when you're told, where you're told, how you're told, and you arrive and you're received by State Department and Homeland Security agents who ensure that you get onto your onward destination where a refugee assistance officer will meet you. You cannot fly. You don't book flights and come over here. That isn't how it works. I don't know why people think they can do that, but that question keeps coming up. Yeah, Conrad, that's right. It happens a few times. It says completed, then it says in progress. And I'll come back and say complete again, back in progress. People need to quit sweating over that, okay? Your expectations are wildly ridiculous in many cases. Excuse me. So, yeah, but go ahead and bring the questions. 353 likes, 400 people watching. So it's time for a song. Let's get a song here. What's this? Oh, I do have this. I'm sorry. Let me read this open letter before I get to the song. This is an open letter to Minister Ronald Lamola from Ernst Rutz, the director of Lex Libertas. Dear Minister Lamola, your recent response to U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, in which you rejected concerns about minority persecution in South Africa, highlights a serious and recurring problem in the discourse regarding South Africa. Instead of engaging with substantive issues affecting the various communities within the country, the South African government routinely dismisses legitimate warnings as misinformation or politically motivated attacks. This pattern has become predictable but no less damaging. You assert that there's no evidence of targeted mistreatment, citing certain statistics as proof. I'm sure you would agree that it is possible to make virtually any political point through a selective use of statistics. This is because no single data set can measure the full picture of systemic failures, policy-driven discrimination, collapsing state capacity, or the lived experience of vulnerable communities. Crime figures alone do not capture the impact of racialized legislation, ideological hostility, institutional decay, or years of state neglect in rural and minority communities. To suggest that these issues do not exist is not only inaccurate, it is irresponsible. The undeniable truth remains that South Africa is not confronted with one problem. We face multiple interconnected crises. These include, but are not limited to, the consequences of destructive economic policy, the collapse of essential state functions, violent crime with regard to which the South African government has lost control, widespread corruption that continues to go unpunished, and the growing vulnerability of targeted minority communities. These are not separate incidents coincidentally occurring at the same time. Together, they expose a political order that is faltering at its foundations, a reality the international partners are increasingly acknowledging. It is sad to witness a recurring pattern among members of the South African ruling elite and a selection of media outlets and commentators ideologically aligned with its objectives, in which these valid concerns are repeatedly and aggressively swept under the carpet with the mere claim that there is no white genocide in South Africa, as if the existence of genocide is the only factor by which one may conclude whether a crisis exists. It is in this context that government leaders, including yourself, have developed the unfortunate habit of accusing critics of being unpatriotic or attacking the country. But, Minister, our position is shaped by lessons drawn directly from the ANC's own history. The ANC did not merely criticize the white minority government, it called for sanctions, boycotts, international pressure, and civil disobedience, all in the name of what it believed was justice. What civil society voices in South Africa are doing today is modest by comparison. If the ANC could justify such campaigns in the past, it should not be surprising that citizens today raise their voices when constitutional rights, community safety, and fundamental freedoms are under threat. The underlying issue here is that criticisms of the ideology of the ruling elite are presented as a lack of patriotism, when the truth of the matter is that it is the very ideology that has caused so much destruction in this beautiful country. Minister Lamola, you need to understand that South Africa is moving toward a similar moment of reckoning. The current trajectory is by no means sustainable. If the government remains unwilling to address these crises honestly, the scale and intensity of campaigns both inside the country and internationally will only increase. In the immediate term, several practical interventions are urgently required. These include prioritizing farm murders by scrapping unnecessary regulatory barriers to prevent community-based and private security initiatives from doing what they do best, guaranteeing the protection of property rights unequivocally and by banning expropriation without compensation and promoting freedom in the market in a tangible way. Scrapping destructive policies such as BE, cater deployment, and other racially divisive frameworks that fail to achieve what they proclaim to champion while weakening institutions and drive away investment. restoring the rule of law, especially with regard to rural and marginalized communities that have been reduced to second-class citizens by the justice system, and prosecuting government leaders, their friends, and family members involved in corruption. Of course, none of that's going to happen. With all that said, it should be stressed that even these interventions, vital as they are, will not resolve the root problem. This is because these interventions would at best serve to address the symptoms of a deeper-rooted crisis. The central issue is structural. South Africa's highly centralized political model concentrates excessive power in a national government that is neither capable nor accountable enough to wield it. This has been true under the ANC, it was true under the National Party, and it was true under British colonial administration. Even though the current South African dispensation is frequently presented as the antithesis of the National Party's white minority government, the similarities remain striking. A centralized state ruling over a vast and diverse society on a racial basis. This approach is destined for periodic failure. That's what I've been saying all along. ANC, National Party. Two sides of the same coin in many respects. On top of this, our reality is worsened by the fact that the ruling elite maintains its belief that the destructive ideological combination of race nationalism and socialism will improve prosperity, despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary. What South Africa truly needs is meaningful decentralization and genuine self-governance for its communities. This is not ideological, it is practical. One might go further and say that it is anti-ideological, because it recognizes self-governance is as natural as human nature itself, unlike the abstract theories currently imposed in the name of prosperity and equality. Around the world, diverse societies characterized by deep friction have stabilized themselves through federal, cantonal, and other community-based models that disperse power, enhance accountability, and allow people to manage their own affairs. To contribute constructively to this debate, Lex Libertas will soon release a series of detailed public reports documenting the extent to which minority communities are being marginalized, targeted, and exposed to systemic vulnerability. These reports will continue trend data, case... Am I still live? Looks like I've dropped off here. Let's see if I'm live. See me. And there's nothing there. Wow, okay. Copy. Let me try a new one here. Nothing happening. gstatic.com. What the hell is that? Well, that's disturbing. I don't know if I'm even live. My studio's not reloading. Let me see if it ended over here. It says I'm live. Let me look and see what you guys are saying. Okay, I'm still live. Thank you, because my studio just disappeared. YouTube, and it's just a problem. So anyway, back to where I was at. These reports will include trend data, case studies, legal analysis, community testimonies, and a register of public statements by public officials. This series will be followed by a set of practical steps that could be taken toward a more viable political order for the various nations that inhabit South Africa. We would welcome the opportunity to discuss these matters with you directly. South Africa cannot move forward through denial. It requires courage, accountability, and structural reform. Lex Libertas stands ready to engage openly, respectfully, and based on evidence. Dr. Ernst Roots. Yeah, well... I don't really think that the Ronnie Lamola gives a flying flip about what Lex Libertas says, but they're trying to create a public record. I got it. I don't care where the U.S. placed me or what job title I hold. I have a real fear of future persecution. If you're not destination shopping, you're taking up my spot, says Marley. Thank you, NMA. Are there any update on the Bloemfontein guy that passed away? Was his car accident? I'm not sure. Bloemfontein, I don't know anything about that. Some guy died here? So those of you talking about my case, at what point can you access? Well, they'll send you an email. That's the point. Still can't understand why cases have already been approved before lockdown have not been sorted, yet there are people approved after lockdown are flying out. Yeah, that's anecdotal, Ian. You keep saying that. It's anecdotal. Yeah, so people who had cases sorted, who had flights canceled, have flown to the States since this restart has happened. We have cases of that. You know, eventually will pay for your flight when you come to America, but you can't book your own flight and pay for it. That's the point. People are asking that question. You can't do that. Advent. Some chocolate amarilla today. Wow, that sounds tasty. Daniel Whitfield says, listening to people asking about being allowed to go back on holidays after leaving is super frustrating. You're a refugee. Now, first off, Daniel, I don't believe that's even real. First off, I think that's people that are just bullshitting. People creating fake profiles, going in these groups, joining these groups, pretending they're refugees, and repeating the language, claiming they've flown to America. If those are real people, then let's see them come on air. I don't think they're real people. By the way, I have another refugee on Thursday. That's coming up Thursday. So, yep, I got to get that set up. There's a national response. Oh, I already got that. All right, I think I'm caught up with the chat now. So no more questions about refugee stuff. Okay, that's fine. Questions about the news, other than stories I haven't heard about. Move backwards again. Some items that show completed, showing progress. So I take it that they are working on it. Yes. What do I think of Milwaukee? It's in Wisconsin. Wisconsin's okay. Milwaukee is, it's I don't know. It's a big town. So let me take a look at maps here. I'll show you where it's at so you can get an idea for geographically here. Okay. Okay. I need to change that to maps. There we go. Okay. Right there on Lake Michigan. So here you go. Not too far from Chicago. So there you go. There's Lake Michigan, which is the second largest lake. Lake Superior is the largest. You see Milwaukee right there on the left-hand side in Wisconsin. Madison is to the west. That's the capital. And south of it is Chicago. So, yeah. And Green Bay is up north there. So that's Wisconsin. Got an Indian reservation, the Menominee Indian reservation there. Excuse me. So there's where Milwaukee is in the context of America. It's cold there, up on the Great Lakes. So that is on the same latitude as Spain, but it's not as warm as Spain, trust me. Milwaukee, Wisconsin is not as warm as Spain. Yeah, because of the Gulf Stream. So there you go. Yeah, it's okay, I suppose. I guess people are asking this because they're being told to go in certain places. Milwaukee is where the 74-year-old black Trump supporter was murdered on his stoop during the Summer of Love. What about the video that's going around South African news about refugees that expose themselves on TV and the farm murders? What are you talking about? What video? Expose themselves how? What refugees? I don't know what you're talking about. Tim Flack, okay. Did you see the post from Reuters where Ron Posen speaks about people in South Africa still pursuing white supremacy? No, I didn't see that. Reuters? No, I haven't seen that. Let's find that story. Reuters, Ron Posen. Let me go to Reuters. Four hours ago. That's why I didn't see it. I was busy working 4 hours ago. He said, this must be at the conference. White supremacy notion threatens South Africa's sovereignty, the president says. Ideas of white racial superiority are a threat to South Africa's post-apartheid unity, its sovereignty and diplomatic relations. Some of our societies still adhere to notions of racial superiority and seek to maintain racial privilege. They do. And they're called black supremacists, indeed. Adding that their views conveniently align with wider notions of white supremacy and white victimhood fed by false claims of persecution of white Afrikaners. Well, the problem with that, of course, is you have 145 race-based laws. So how do you... My birthday's Christmas Day. What do you get? Is it my birthday? Where are you getting it from? Yep. What area in America would you recommend? I live in PA with like similar weather conditions. Not a fan of winter. Southern California. Virginia. Yeah, people think they get to choose. They think it's immigration. You know, it's, oh, I want to go here. You don't get to choose that. Also, we got all these people that are coming over that are like they relocating, so they cause a lot of problems. There's a group of Afrikaner women who are South Africans who live over here in the States that aren't refugees that have been working assiduously to help people out with baskets, sending them food baskets and stuff like that, and getting things delivered to them, and helping out with winter clothes and things like that. They're just an informal refugee assistance program they've created on their own, and kudos to them. But they've been taxed because you got people a few people who've arrived, and then they're listening to some idiot who's still posting stuff online. And why anybody believes that woman, I don't know. Look, again, I don't mean to insult her kindness, but you people believe any shit anybody tells you. It's unbelievable. And so they listen to this woman, and they relocate somewhere, and then they have nothing, and then they bitch and moan, we need help, and they're draining resources away from people who actually need help, because they go to places where they don't have a refugee assistance officer, and then they whine in this group, and we need help, we need food, we need this, we don't have anything. They are, I don't understand, these are not people we want in this country. If that's your behavior, again, listen to my advice. If you come over as a refugee, stay where they put you. Stay where they put you, all right? Get settled, get your social security number, things like that. Take care of that, okay? Yeah, Janine, okay, that's what I'm headed toward. That's why I went into this conversation. You can't choose where you're going, but you also do not need to move until you have Social Security number, you have bank accounts, maybe even a credit card at some point. You have become accustomed to the country. You know how to drive on the correct side of the road, and you understand the laws and mores. You have a driver's license, all that stuff. Picking up and moving before any of that's taken care of. Also, exhaust the refugee benefits entitlements that you're entitled to. Use them all. Use them all. Milk the system dry. I mean, that's just dumb unless you've got a bunch of money to just pick up and move. So, Sean, I didn't ask that question. People find their destination out a short time before they leave. That's when they usually find out. Yeah, and once you've got established, once you've got a Social Security number, a driver's license, you're accustomed to what it's like, you get the lay of the land, then you can move around, okay? First off, you're not prevented. You can move anytime you want. I'm just saying you're dumb if you move when you get here. It's just stupid. Char was an exception. Char worked out very well, but that's not the norm. That's an exception. Huh? I don't know what this is. Some website that's helping people out. I can't vouch for it, but Mad Max just sent this, so I mean, I'll check into it. Live in the U.S. and have refugee status. What should I know? Okay, well, let's see how accurate it is. It's important to remember that we're talking about refugee status in the United States. Some people also receive something called refugee status from the UN or a form of governments and other governments. The information in this article only applies to people who have refugee status that was approved by the U.S. government. Refugee status is different from asylum and parole. It's exactly what I've been telling people. People apply for immigration status inside the United States because they're afraid to return to their home countries, maybe grant asylum. They're called asylees. This immigration system. This is different from refugee status. People enter the United States through something called parole. Parole is also not the same as refugee status. Parole is permission to enter and stay in the United States for a temporary period of relief. There you go. There you go. So, I-94. How long does it last? Refugee status does not expire. That's what I said. You also do not need to apply to renew your status. The only way the government can terminate it is if it determines that you are not actually a refugee when you arrive in the States, or if the underlying conditions where you came from change. So thank you, Mad Max. All that's doing is proving me that I'm correct. It's just proving that I'm correct. So, and I've been saying this since February 7th. Funny how that worked out. Public benefits. Your refugee, you have access to certain public benefits and essential services, including healthcare and education. You may also have access to benefits related to food and housing, depending on where you live in the United States and live. Most public benefits are income-based, meaning they depend on your financial situation. Also, a law passed in July 2025 has changed some of the benefits available to refugees. There you go. What is a green card? It's another for lawful status. Okay. Refugees apply for permanent residence once they've been physically present in the U.S. for 1 year, starting the day you arrive. And that's what I said originally, but then everybody told me I was wrong and said you had to apply within the first year. You apply, but you have to be here a year to get it. Saying some people getting settled, understand how things work, get your affairs in order, wouldn't move until I get my green card. Well, if you listen to Farayas who talk out their ass, oh, come here, we got a job for you. Yeah, go there. Yeah, I know a South African who's currently in the States who was hoodwinked into coming to the States and then basically exploited, human trafficked. Criteria being so loose, meaning people only have to articulate rather than prove past person. You're bound to have a small amount of people just looking for immigration. Well, you say it's loose, but it's not as simple as that, Jay. It's not as simple as that. I mean, these people who do the interviews are very talented, they're very experienced, and they can smell a rat. Okay? So it's not as loose as you think. It's not as loose as you think. These are professional investigators who know what they're doing, professional adjudicators who review these cases. So it's not an easy process. Yeah, and you I think you're unintentionally implying that it's a very simple thing to do. It's not. It's not. Yes, lots of people have their status changed on a review norm. We just covered this 10 minutes ago. It's a normal course of the process. I think this My Status dashboard is nothing but disaster because you're coming here asking questions that don't need to be asked. You shouldn't even know these things. This is because they do things in the background and then they update the website, and it needs to be done a better way. If they're going to do that, it needs to have like each of those subheadings ought to have each step. If there's 5 steps in the way, you're in progress or complete. Boom, step 1 completed. Okay, but it's not completed. Now you got to go to step 2. So when they initiate step 2, it says in progress. Step 2, completed. Then step 3. So that's how they should have done it. But I'm not running the website, so. Yes, you're going to relocate. It's best to build up credit. So let me ask you this question. You get to the States. See, I had a family came to Maryland. I don't know who they are. They talked to me a few months back. They came to Maryland. And let me tell this story again. So they contacted me. They were desperate. They said, oh, that lady, that so-and-so lady, the one that was attacking me, who slandered me. It's lucky I don't hire a lawyer. That lady told them, hey, come over here, all the way to the other side of the country. We're going to get you a job. Okay. They didn't have a social security number. They've been in country for 2 days when they're asking for my advice. They were in Maryland. So they were going to go to a place. I said, well, I think it was Wisconsin, maybe it was somewhere else. I don't remember exactly. I said, do you have refugee assistance there? No. All right, so you're going to forego getting your resume help changed, being taken to get your social security number, and getting settled, getting your refugee cash assistance. You're going to let all that go. And getting set up for food stamps, because back then you could still get food stamps. You're going to let all that go because someone promised you they're going to get you a job on the other side of the country. And you're also telling me that you've already come, your parents are coming in like 2 months. They knew that. I don't know if they got shut down in the shutdown. But anyway, I said, so your parents are going to come. Your parents barely speak English. And they're going to come and they're going to be dropped in Maryland. How are they going to get to the other place? Who's going to take care of them? Why don't you just stay, get your social security card, get a driver's license, get acclimated. You're in a great spot. Maryland is a very decent place to be. And let your parents come over, get them adjusted, and then start looking elsewhere. I mean, there are tons of jobs in Maryland. There's tons of government jobs in Maryland. And you can work for the government without a clearance. You don't have to be an American citizen to work for the government. You just can't work in a clearance area. Yep. Haven't been able to complete my questionnaire past 3rd stage. The dashboard is so complicated for someone who's only littered with trading cryptos on my PC. Mike, I don't understand your point there. You haven't been able to answer the questionnaire. Well, then you're doing something wrong. Read the instructions. They're very clear. You have to actually read the instructions. BBC documented Afrikaans woman thought she was to fly Nairobi. Why would somebody think they were flying to Nairobi? Well, under Smuller, that's where it would be at. That's what should be expected. It's under review. Pierre, that's what we're talking about. I just covered that. Man, gosh, people just like come into the chat an hour and 26 minutes to do it and ask a question. Tons of jobs in Maryland. Yep. Yeah, especially after they got rid of the illegals. Frederick is lovely. Unfortunately, they've ruined it. Too many damn people moved there. Frederick was amazing. I was going to buy a house in Frederick 20 years ago, but no way. It's out of control. I'm going to have to live on the other side of South Mountain to the west of there. Yep. If I move back to Maryland. But Maryland is freaking full of commie socialist Democrats, so they make it difficult to live there. Francois Ferreira, thank you. Honored, you're gracious professionals. Thank you. When can I become a refugee, Colonel? Now you're just being silly quids. Yeah, unless you come with tons of cash, you don't move from where they settle you. Yeah. Folks, I mean, let's put this in perspective, okay? You heard last night in Colorado and Denver, you heard Fonz, those who tuned in, said that his rent is $1,300 a month, which is actually not bad for a metropolitan area. $1,300 a month. That is 26,000 Rand. So if you come over here, some people are like, hey, how do I convert my money? I've got about 50,000 Rand. Okay, well, in 2 months, it'll all be gone just paying for rent. That doesn't include insurance payments. That doesn't include transportation costs. That doesn't include any food. That doesn't include any incidentals. Doesn't include need to buy any winter clothing. None of that. Your money will be gone just paying for rent in 2 months. So stay where you're at. Let them pay for that stuff while you can until you get employment, okay? It's very simple. My case showed ready for departure. Something changed, progress, then back again, ready for departure, and again last week something. Yeah, see, exactly, Natasha. That's what I'm talking about. It changes back and forth. That's why I think the damn thing is just more trouble than it's worth. Whatever you get, take it. Open arms, says Dawns. I'm sure our flights will be soon. I hope so, Natasha. I love the way that the left keeps calling the right Nazis while failing to recognize that Hitler was a socialist. Not of sorts, he was a socialist. It was a National Socialist German Workers' Party. NSDAP, National Socialist Deutsche Arbeiterpartei. Yeah, NSDAP, the Nazis. Yeah, they were socialists. They were leftist. They're not right-wingers. 3,000 is average for good school neighborhoods and 3 bedrooms. Yep, Afrikaners that go to America out of caring and kindness for other Afrikaners have set a good moral standard. Please, that's being proud and trucker. Make a song for the lazy people, those who arrive late. Go back to the beginning. Okay. Anyone know if anyone has been resettled in California? Yes. I covered that. Gosh, man. Gosh, people just don't watch the content. Look, I know everybody can't expect to be watching every program. I get it. But we've talked about that. So let me just bring it up again. Let me find it. I published all these stats. I made a video on it. So that's the thing that frustrates me. I make short videos on this stuff and cover the topic, and people don't watch it. Okay, where the hell's it at here? I got to find it now. Here it is. There he is. All right, so here it is. This is October of last year through November this year. Okay. Let me zoom this up a little bit there first. Okay. So 12 people have been settled in California. Arizona got 2, California got 12, Colorado 10, 3 from Afghanistan, 7 from South Africa, Florida with 14, Indiana with 2, Iowa with 10, Kansas with 4, Kentucky with 10. Now, I've been in contact with people in Florida, Iowa, Kentucky, and then there's Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Minnesota, Nevada, New Mexico, New York, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania. I've been in touch with refugees in Pennsylvania, in New York, in Nevada, in Maine, and in Maryland, excuse me. And then we have South Carolina, Texas, Utah, Virginia, Wisconsin. I've also been in contact with refugees in Virginia. There's a colored guy, Indian guy in Virginia, and in Texas and Wisconsin. So I've been in touch with refugees in many of those places. Not all of them, though. So there's no mention of Montana on here, is there? So the people that wound up in Montana moved there of their own accord. That's not where they put them. So I also got false information there. I was told that the government put them there. That's not where they were sent. I don't know how they wound up in Montana. That's not even mentioned here. Never mentioned here. So how did those people wind up in Montana? That's a very strange situation. Yep, so very strange. So that's the story. There are people in California. No, Mr. Kokomo, I know. It's hectic. I know there's a lot going on. I mean, I can't keep up. I'm falling behind all my responsibilities. Just trying to keep updated. No, but it's fine. It's a fair question to ask. It's just I get a little frustrated because I answer the same thing over and over again, and I made videos. And mostly because YouTube's hiding them. So I looked at a couple of cities, and you can get a decent 2-bedroom house for $1,000. Housing really isn't that expensive if you just do a thorough searching. Housing is expensive. It's a quality. It's how recent is Janine. So I'm going to dispute you on the housing is expensive. What I paid for my house is outrageous. It's in my view, it's not worth that. But I mean, that was the going rate when I bought it. Mr. Chromo, there's a reason for that, okay? All right, and I covered this as well. So let me find the spreadsheet. Okay. Okay, so let me find the sheet, and I'll explain this again. It's going to be a little hard to see. So I'm going to try to... I don't want AI. Screw that. Why are they always trying to push AI? Ugh, jeez. Okay, so it's going to be a little hard to see this, but let me just show you the spreadsheet, okay? So that's the spreadsheet from the U.S. Government, Department of State, Bureau of Population, Refugees, and Migration, Office of Refugee Processing as of November 30th. Okay, so this is 2025, okay? And if you look, this is Africa. We're going to start with Africa. They were expecting 30 to 50,000 people coming in. That was the ceiling for Africa. Eritrea, Democratic Republic of Congo sent 5,600 people, or Somalia sent 2,500. All those people came in October, November, December, January. Then Trump stopped the program. After that, there were people from Congo. So I never highlighted that in green. That needs to be highlighted in green there. The DRC had people come. Hang on a second there. That's not what I wanted. I wanted this. So the DRC had people coming. So 18 came in July. And then we had Eritrea and Ethiopia had 10 total come in March and April. And 14 came from Rwanda in July. Then it's all South Africa. 342 people came. 68 came in May, the 59ers, plus another 9 came. 4 in June, 21 in July, 58 in August, and then 191 came in September. You can see a buildup. All right. So since then, 122 came for 2 weeks in November. All right. Since then, the pace has really picked up. The first week of December, a lot more people coming. So, all right. So there you go. Those are the actual numbers. So it may seem like a little to you, but it's quite a bit. This is a program that would normally take 18 months to get off the ground, and people are already here. And I know the Pasito case. Who's Pasito? Granted, 12,000 access, didn't it? Some cis come over that already had flights booked. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, the lawsuit. Thank you. Yeah, it's all lies. I'm sorry, I misunderstood. Big increase. I think the floodgates. Well, the floodgates have already opened, Mr. Kokomo. They've already opened. Which the numbers aren't reflected. This is through November 30th. Remember that the travel didn't start again until the 14th of November, something like that. I forget the date that we actually got it going. Maybe it was the 14th. And so it's only 2 weeks in November. 2 weeks in November. And that was in there. Not in that report, but in the other. 122 became the last 2 weeks. I think that number is understated, but that's what they say. So more coming over now. I saw that video. It has 265 videos. I went back to look for it. Gone like the wind. What video? What are you talking about, Kathy? Riffs, thank you for the 140 Rand. Appreciate that. Mr. Kokomo says from start to approval took under a month. Well, that's what you say. Appreciate that. We could get as many people as want out. We have the ability, so. My heart is blij für allemaal. Well, that's kind of you. Johan has got to go. Okay. Just makes sense to stay where they put you. You're not just unfamiliar with your neighborhood in a whole new country. You're just dumb to think you can venture out in a place you have no clue about. Yeah, that's people become victims. Yep. Northern California is beautiful, but unfortunately it's in California. All right, so we got it. Lawsuit granted 12,000 access based on proof of it. Right. Well, I just covered Africa, so let's go to other regions. East Asia and Latin America. Yeah. So there were 125,000 capped. 38,105 people came. 7,600 in October, 7,000 in November, 12,000 in January, 10,000 in November, and then 10,000 in December. Excuse me. Yeah, 38,000. Then after that, not too many came. Not too many came after that. Anyway, yeah, so it's just the program's so out of control. That's in 2024. I have all the years here. I have 2024. There were 100,000 let in here out of 125,000. It's insane. 15,000 came in December, just burying our country. These are people came here legally because of this program. 2023, 60,000 were let in. 2022, 25,000 were let in. See, they're all freaking out about Donald Trump. But in 2022, when Joe Biden was president, only 25,000 people were let in the country. 2021, the figure is 11,000. 2021. Biden was president in 2021. He only let 11,000 people in. They're freaking out about that. All these, by the way, all these stories about Trump. Of course, that was COVID. I understand that. But only 11,000 and then 25,000 Biden let in. But they're freaking out about Trump. 2020. 11,000 in 2020. 2019. 30,000. That was Trump. 2018. 22,000. Trump. 2017. Trump. 53,000. Trump let 53,700 in 2020. 27. His first year's presidency let 53,000. In his first year's presidency, Donald Trump let more refugees into the country than Joe Biden did in his first 2 years combined. (2016) It's Obama, 85,000. 2015, Obama, 70,000. 2014, Obama, 69,000. 2013, 69,000. Obama just flooded this country with refugees for years and years and years. Anyway. And for 2026, November, 122, all from Africa, all from South Africa. That's it. So when we see the December numbers come out, we'll see. But again, December is going to be skewed too. It's not going to be like the normal thing. And I'll tell you why, folks, because once again, December will be a case of no travel from the 15th through the end of the month. RVC, I didn't know you left. Well, no, 1,000. I thought it said 100,000. 1,000, 2,000. Yeah. Yeah, no, 1,000. They were going to handle more than that easily. Easily. We could do that. I mean, we took 15,000 in 1 month. We managed that. Do people get placed with family if the U.S. if asked? Joe, yes, I have answered that question many, many times, and we answered it in the interview with Fonz. So the way this works is when you get an interview, they'll ask you if you have family or you know people in America. Okay? Because they're looking for people to sponsor you, which will cut down the cost of the taxpayer. So if someone has a house and they can put you up there and they agree to sponsor you, then the U.S. government won't have to pay your rent. So like say somebody contacted me and said, well, now we've been told we're put in the back of the queue. And I said, that's nonsense. People are lying to you because we were told they were going to be resettled, and they have a sister in the States, and the sister said, I can't accommodate them. I don't have money. I have a place for them to stay. So the refugee assistance agent wrote back to them in South Africa and said, well, because your sister can't accommodate you, we don't have any money, so you can't come over here. You're going to be put in the back of the queue. That's a lie. They have no control over that. If they can't handle you, then they have to turn the case back over to USCIS, and they'll locate you elsewhere. Your relatives, your family, or acquaintances are not obliged to take you. They just ask to do it because typically, if you have family that lives in Minnesota and you come over and go to Minnesota, you're going to, in theory, adapt more quickly because they know where stuff is and they know what's important to you, what's related to you. And so they're saving money. Yes, Obama is the porter in chief, but Trump will eventually beat him at the rate we're going. You and others have covered every possible avenue in regards to refugee status. Well, the others, no, I don't think others. There's a couple people, but yeah, so I know I've covered it over and over again. Max gave a 35 Rand super chat. So this is speaker's notes from General Masemola. We have earlier this evening met with the investigating team on the murder of the case of Mr. Marius Fundamental together with IPID, which has been investigating the murder case of Dududza, where an African male's body was found dumped in a dam in 2022. African. Do you mean black? Because white folks are Africans too. We are meeting with the family of Mr. Marius Fundamental to brief them on how far we are with investigations into his murder. We will be confirming with the family that we do believe that we have found the vehicle used in the murder of Mr. Fundamental. On the evening of the murder, the deceased video footage shows a white Baki pulling up behind his vehicle as he's about to open the gate to his residence. He is thereafter shot several times and died on the scene. At this stage, we do believe the white Chevrolet Baki, they said it was a Nissan, that was abandoned in Alexandria right here in Johannesburg fits the description of the vehicle that we have been looking for. Our crime scene experts as well, vehicle crime investigation unit, were at the scene in Alexandria where the car was found. It was found on a gravel dead-end road amongst shacks. We have 3 persons interested that we believe can assist in solving the case. Closing in on the suspects, our investigations reach a very advanced and sensitive stage. Linked to the murder of Mr. Vandermeer, we are investigating 2 other cases, which is the murder of Dududza and the attempted murder of Mr. Vandermeer in September, where he indicated there were 2 white males that were following him in a Mahindra Baki. Still looking for the murder weapon. Possible motive is still under investigation. Well, it's pretty obvious what the motivation is. Yep. So this was posted 12:36 p.m. So half an hour ago. You're welcome, Joe. Anyway, so we were talking about doing a song. So let me go back to that. Okay, here we go. All right, let's do this. Let's do this. I'm going to write this down. All right, so don't go anywhere, folks. This will be good. You guys still there? Well, that's not going to work. Let me check, see if you guys are still here. Sorry, I'm taking a little brain power to make this happen. Okay. We lost a few people. This town, what's this, Violent Barbie? Okay, just brought keep warm. Okay, Jared's still here. Good. Okay. Okay, it's music time. Okay, Quids is out of here. Okay. Okay, don't worry. All right. Okay. Almost done. All right, I got it. Let's see what comes out of this now. Okay, cool beans. See, got it. Let's go over here to my. Okay. All right, put that here. Come on. Paste. Oh, crap. Why does it do that? Now, oh, my formatting is wrong. Hang on a second here. Let me fix this. It'll take about a moment here. And then I just got to regenerate this. Okay, good. Got it. All right, let's see. And then we'll do the music generation. We'll pick a sound. Why is that? I want that there. Okay. Looking to see if anything came through. Nope, nothing there. Okay. Okay. Got it. Okay. Oh boy, it's a little bit involved when I do this sometimes, folks. Give me a second here. So I want to get it right. Okay, so now I got this. So I got to change one thing here. I think I got to change this. Hang on. Okay. All right. Okay, let's see. All right, now I got it. Almost there. Hopefully this one comes out good. Create. Okay. Okay. Style goes here. Okay. Okay. Alrighty, let's see what we get here. All right, how far do we go down in viewership? Oh, we didn't lose too many more. Thank you all for being here. What, 417 dropped 100. Let's build on here the song. Space the Veterans Night Watchman. No, we don't have any money for that. Rudolph had a family crisis. Hope it's all right. Severe lack of frappuccinos. Charles, no, it just takes time. I came up with some good lyrics here. We'll see how it comes out. We'll see how it comes out. I came up with some pretty good lyrics here. Mails, I get so many mails every day, just that one account. Crazy. All right, here we go. You guys ready? Version 1.
Quiet as a church mouse. Got a stack of invoices on the floor. Creditors banging on the black and green door. The kids are crying, the fridge is bare. There's a tension hanging in the stale office air. We don't want a banquet, we don't want a spree. Everybody just wants a bucket of KFC. It's a flashback, a rerun, a glitch in the screen. Bills are overdue, and the party planners are coming for you. Working without compensation, it's a payroll disintegration. How can we trust you with the state of the nation when you can't meet a simple obligation? Working without compensation, total financial stagnation. The country, you want to lead the way, but you can't find the cash at the end of the day. Hard-working staff left out in the cold. Stories of funding that never got told. Did the wire transfer get stuck in the sand? Did Tehran run out of money on the man? Pick up the hotline, make a dash. Go ask the BRICS countries for a little bit of cash. It's a bad habit, breaking the trust, turning the legacy into dust. 18 months was a lesson learned, but the bridge is already being burned. Policy, they talk about the land, they talk about taking what is in your hand. Look on the bright side, through the frustration. At least it is not yet. expropriation without compensation.
Version 1. Working without compensation.
Working without compensation. It's a payroll disintegration. How can we trust you with the state of the nation when you can't meet a simple obligation? Working without compensation. Just want a KFC. Kids are hungry. Where's the money? Did your hair run out? Working without compensation.
This is a hit. Let's see how version 2 is. It's a bit longer. Version 2. Sounds like Kim Wilde. We're the kids in America.
The lights are flickering in Luther house. The treasurer is quiet as a church mouse. Got a stack of invoices on the floor. Creditors banging on the black and green door. The kids are crying. The fridge is bare. There's a tension hanging in the stale office air. We don't want a banquet. We don't want a spree. Everybody just wants a bucket of KFC. It's a flashback, a rerun, a glitch in the screen. We've been here before, if you know what I mean. 18 months we waited in line, running on empty, losing our minds. Now the election bills are overdue, and the party planners are coming for you. Working without compensation. It's a payroll disintegration. How can we trust you with the state of the nation when you can't meet a simple obligation?
I like the first one better.
Working without compensation. Total financial stagnation.
I like the first one better. Sounds like his testicles haven't dropped.
Find the cash at the end of the day. Hard-working staff left out in the cold. Stories of funding that never got told. Did the wire transfer get stuck in the sand? Did Ted run out of money on demand? Pick up the hotline, make a dash. Go ask the BRICS countries for a little bit of cash. It's a bad habit breaking the trust, turning the legacy into dust. 18 months was a lesson learned, but the bridges are already being burned. Working without compensation. It's a payroll disintegration. How can we trust you with the state of the nation when you can't meet a simple obligation? Working without compensation. Total financial stagnation. They talk about policy. They talk about the land. They talk about taking what is in your hand. Look on the bright side, through the frustration. At least it is not yet expropriation.
Yeah, okay, that version sucks. First one's better. First one's much better. Okay, we'll stop that there. Yeah, the first one's much better. I hope you like that, guys. What is this? No, that's not me. What are they coming up with there? Okay. All right, cool. Yeah. Oh, wow. Anyway, so cool. I like the first one better. Play the first one again? Okay, I'll play the first one again. Hang on. I'll play the first one again. Let me get it here. Here we go.
Quiet as a church mouse. Got a stack of invoices on the floor. Creditors banging on the black and green door. The kids are crying, the fridge is bare. There's a tension hanging in the stale office air. We don't want a banquet, we don't want a spree. Everybody just wants a bucket of KFC.
Just want a bucket of KFC.
It's a flashback, a rerun, a glitch in the screen. Bills are overdue, and the party planners are coming for you. Working without compensation, it's a payroll disintegration. How can we trust you with the state of the nation when you can't meet a simple obligation? Working without compensation, total financial stagnation. Country, you wanna lead the way, but you can't find the cash at the end of the day. Hard-working staff left out in the cold. Stories of funding that never got told. Did the wire transfer get stuck in the sand? Did Tehran run out of money on the man? Pick up the hotline, make a dash. Go ask the BRICS countries for a little bit of cash. It's a bad habit, breaking the trust, turning the legacy into dust. 18 months was a lesson learned, but the bridge is already being burned. Policy, they talk about the land, they talk about taking what is in your hand. Look on the bright side, through the frustration. At least it is not yet. Expropriation without compensation. Working without compensation.
There you go. There you go, folks. All right, cool beans. All right, thanks. We'll catch you a little bit later. That's going to do it for today. I've got lots to take care of here, especially the veteran stuff today. You all take care and have a good day. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done already. Get close to 500 likes. We're not quite there. We're close, but not quite there. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in for almost 2 hours. Gosh, I went for 3 hours last night. It's getting crazy. Cool beans. Appreciate it. And closing credits. Cheers.